The protest concludes here outside Kleinfontein, but important to balance such a controversial and perhaps sensitive story, we have to bring in the other side as well. I'm now joined by Rian Khanes. He is the spokesperson here at Kleinfontein. Mr. Khanes, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it was an unusual day, I think, for many of the citizens, the residents of Kleinfontein, the Red Berets that came to protest at your gates. It's been busy, a lot of police, but I know you're also unhappy about the state of affairs, the dirt outside following the crowd that gathered here. But I want to get into how do you respond to some of the calls, in particular the call that this place has to be shut down.
Yeah, we are deeply disappointed with the behavior today. They broke our property. There's a lot of litter lying outside now. But we are very grateful, firstly, to our Heavenly Father for the fact that today was relatively peaceful. And also we want to thank the authorities, South African police, that were here, and for the professional manner in which they have also dealt with their services and duties today. We are very appreciative of that. Patricia, it's unnecessary that one must confront each other in this manner. Last week there was a small delegation of EFF members that visited Kleinfontein. They were here at the gate. They promised us that they will make an appointment to come and speak to us. We actually agreed with them, and also we sent the EFF a letter in which we invited them to speak to us, because we prefer dialogue. We prefer that we engage with each other in a mature manner, and that we engage with each other with a purpose of trying to understand each other. A lot of slurs were hurled towards Kleinfontein that, for example, they are welcome to come and work here, their parents work here, sweat here, but they're not entitled to stay here, which is not true. Kleinfontein, as a cultural society, do our own work. It's our own people that work in the gardens, it's our own people that work in the houses, the construction is done by our own people. It's Afrikaners that do everything. And that's a false pretense that was posed to the people here, that we reach back to the old slavery or to the old apartheid. It's not that. This is a cultural community. We do our own dirty work and we clean our own trash. It's not like it used to be. And that's the important difference. We believe that culture is rich, it's beautiful, it's deep. The Zulu culture, you cannot reduce that beautiful and rich culture to black. And the same with the Afrikaner culture. We're a people, we're a folk that came into existence on the soil of Africa. The President Zuma referred to the Afrikaner as the white tribe of Africa. We're Africans. I'm very proud to be an African. We live on African soil. I was born on African soil. I want to die on African soil. We're part of this continent. We're part of this country. And it's important for us that there is respect and constructive engagement, that we learn from each other, that we work towards a positive future, and that we do not have this type of confrontational and aggressive. There was lots of aggression, like you pointed out. I mean, they tried to break through the gates. Fortunately, the police wasn't able to stop them. That is not the right way in which people should engage with each other.
Many are wondering, what's the main requirement for someone, a South African, to live in Kleinfontein?
As I mentioned, we're a cultural community. We want people from our culture to live together, because culture, if you do not foster it, is very frail. It's a candle that can be blown out by the wind.
But culture is broad. I want you to break it down. What's the main? If I had to come and knock on your door and I say, I want a house here, what would be the requirements that I would have to meet in order for me to get a house here?
100%. So we want people from the Afrikaner culture to come and live here. And I know that you say it's broad, but culture is broad, right? Christian, Afrikaans, religious, respectful of our ways, respectful of our days, respectful of the way that we live, respectful of cleanliness, respectful of respecting other people's property. So if you look outside, that's not what we see here, Patricia. And that's the unfortunate bit. There's much more to culture.
Could a non-Afrikaner, non-white, could they live here?
Of course they could live here, but they would not feel welcome here, right? We can't refuse. We're in South Africa, but we can, in terms of our own constitution, we can build our own. And they refer to Section 235, that's this lost section of the constitution. That's not true. If you read the whole constitution, you will find a lot of gems that speak to each other. Also Section 31, for example, brilliant, beautiful, where a cultural community can exist and foster itself. And that's what we want to achieve. And again, that stems from an agreement that was a 1994 agreement when South Africa was on a powder keg and on the verge of blowing up. The Afrikaners, the Boer people, and the then government, the old NP government, and the ANC sat down with America and Britain as witnesses. And we spoke to each other, we said, let's prevent a war in this country. And that agreement was reached and concluded and signed between those parties. So the government of today, the government of then, agreed that the Afrikaner can
separately develop.
Yes. Well, it's let's be careful. Not separately developed. We can ascribe, we can dream about self-determination, and there's many forms of self-determination. I heard the accusations being thrown at us that we want a separatist state. That's not true.
Are there black people who live in here?
No. None have applied. No? But what's important is, if you look at South Tyrol in Italy, the Basques, the Catalonians, the Flemish people in Belgium. If you look at that, the world is filled with minority groups that have, in terms of UN conventions, the right to look and to cherish self-determination. And there's many forms of beautiful self-determination that is not separatist in nature. And those are the ones that we ascribe to.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rian Khanas. He is the spokesperson here at Kleinfontein, and really just bringing their side of the story into the picture, why it's important for them to live in this community. Preserving their culture is perhaps their foundation premise, but many seem not to be happy with this. They call it discrimination, and now we hear that it has even escalated to the EFF saying that this amounts to economic exclusion. So we'll have to see how does this story develop moving forward.